Thank you, Senator Daines. Boy, you know, this conversation is it's just the same whether you are up north in Alaska or whether you're sitting there in Montana. It just is not improving. You know, you're talking about what's going on in your region. Last year, we noted in appropriations language that over the last 10 years, the timber supply in Region 10 up in Alaska has been constrained to less than 10% of the allowable sale quantity in the land management plan. We've seen handfuls of our small mills closed down. It just has not gotten any better. And whether it's in the Tongass or clearly the comments that we've heard from both you and from Senator Tester here this morning, we talk about certainty and the need for longer-term contracts. We are so with you there, Chief, so with you. In fact, we agreed so much that we included in the report language from FY15 a directive to you, and said that in order to restore confidence in the supply and allow for investment in new facilities, we reminded you of the Forest Service pledge to prepare and offer the 4-year timber sales. And so we provided specific language. We directed the Forest Service to prepare and offer within 2 years the 4 10-year timber sales as promised. So even when we provide that directive to give us that longer-term contracts, to give us that confidence, nothing on the ground changes. And you know, I don't disagree that you've got a hard job here managing things, but I don't know what to tell the folks in the Tongass anymore. The guys that are trying to hold on to some family-owned operations, and the only reason that they're still in existence is because they and their families, this is what they know, this is who they are, but they're no longer living in a timber community. They're living in a community that is trying to exist off subsidies that we throw them with secure rural schools. It is sad, and we can blame litigation. That's certainly a factor, but I think we also have to recognize that the commitments that we're receiving from the Forest Service are not translating into increased harvest on our forests. So I'm discouraged. I'm just discouraged because I don't know where the communities that I was born in, like Ketchikan, or raised in, like Wrangell, I don't know where they go. I want to talk about the other aspects of industry within the regional economy, because there is more than timber. We know that. There's fishing, there's tourism, and tourism, of course, is based on the recreational opportunities out there, and yet in the last 5 years, the recreation, heritage, and wilderness budget has dropped approximately 14% across your budget. Alaska's recreation budget has been hit extra hard, over 23% over that same 5-year period. Tell me why the recreation programs in Alaska were disproportionately affected by past budget cuts compared to other regions, and what can the Alaska region expect from this 16 budget increase? Is it going to have any impact on the issuance of operating permits? I'm trying to figure out whether there's any good news here for the people in the Tongass, and I'm searching hard.
Well, Madam Chair, with recreation, it is the actually supports more jobs than any other activity we have in the National Forest now. Over 200,000 jobs are supported through recreation, and there's
well, that's clear in Alaska because we've run off the timber jobs.
And in the past, there in Region 10, the Alaska region, they have taken a greater than their proportionate share of reductions in recreation funding. We've had to make some very difficult choices over the years as we've seen our budgets under a constrained, our programs under a constrained budget be very limiting to what we are able to do. I do know that in FY15 we did make a shift for recreation funding in Alaska, so to actually they received an increase in what they've been receiving in the past to address this inconsistency. And so as we move forward, we're going to look at how to better balance all these programs together. This budget request does maintain the level of recreation funding. I wish it was more. But until we can fix this fire issue, it takes up so much of our constraint that we're going to continue to see these impacts. You'll see slight increases there in your state with recreational funding, but this is something that needs to be addressed across the board. We just got to find some ways to fix the fire suppression issue so that we can have more flexibility within our budget request to be able to address these issues.
Well, Chief, I carry with me in the file that I haul everywhere a few maps because I'm big into maps. And if your policies are going to shut off our timber opportunities in the Tongass, and you say, well, move to recreation, move to tourism, and you disproportionately reduce those dollars that go to Alaska. And then you tell us that part of the plan is moving towards, we've got to move towards more renewable resource. We absolutely agree there. But yet we don't have the ability to get around the roadless rule in Alaska. It just kind of suffocates you after a while. And you've seen my big map, the roadless area inventory. For colleagues, this is the whole southeastern part of the state of Alaska. This is also the Tongass, because southeast is the Tongass. Everything in red is categorized as roadless under the roadless rule and is not available for renewable hydroelectric power or other development. So no timber, reduction in recreation, not even available for accessing renewable hydroelectric power or other development that will allow us to reduce our energy costs. These are tough hearings for me, Chief, and they're tough because the people of my state bear the consequences.